People like to say high school is the best time of your life. For me, it was 4 years of being a ghost who still had to feel everything. My name is Elara, and until the day I found the book, I didn't exist. I wasn't bullied in the way movies show it. No one dumped paint on me. No one pushed me into lockers. It was quieter. Worse, they just looked through me like I wasn't there. No good morning. No want to sit here. No what's your name again? I had one hoodie, one pair of worn-out Converse, and a backpack stitched together with safety pins and irony. And a locker I didn't bother to use because what would I put inside hope? The popular kids had their bubble. It floated shiny and untouchable. Cheerleaders, jocks, the student council darlings. People with names that sounded like brands Sierra Blake Kenzie. Me, I was a glitch in the system. But everything changed on a rainy Tuesday. It started with a fight. I stayed late in the library that day as usual, hiding from the cafeteria chaos. As I was leaving through the east stairwell, the one no one uses except janitors and people like me, I heard shouting. 2 voices, girls, sharp, angry, familiar. I crept down the steps, holding my breath, until I saw them Kenzie DeWitt and Alyssa Storm, the queen bees of Ridgeview High, locked in a whispered war. I didn't catch everything, but I heard just enough. If anyone finds out about Tyler and me, then keep your mouth shut. You wrote it down, didn't you? Of course not. Wait, no. I did, in the book. The burn book. They froze. Kenzie's mascara ran. Alyssa's face went pale. Then she hissed, "We have to destroy it before someone finds it." They left in a rush. I stayed hidden. But when the door slammed and silence returned, I wasn't the same girl who had entered that stairwell. There was a book, somewhere, a book that could shatter everything. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. My mind spun with possibilities. What did the burn book contain? Was it real? Could it be just a diary? Or something worse? By morning, I had a plan. No one noticed me. That was my curse, but now it was my power. 3 days later, I found it. It was buried in the back of Kenzie's locker, hidden behind a panel that wasn't even screwed in properly. I waited until after school when she left her bag in the dance studio. I picked the lock YouTube taught me how. Turns out being invisible gives you plenty of time to learn skills. The book was black. Leather. No title. But inside was chaos. Every page was handwritten in glittery gel pen. Gossip, confessions, taunts, threats. Names, dates, photos taped in like trophies. Every dirty secret of Ridgeview High cataloged like a serial killer's scrapbook. Kenzie and Alyssa hadn't just written about people. They'd planned things, schemed, humiliated others for sport. I wasn't just holding a book. I was holding their kingdom's foundation. And I could burn it all down. But I didn't do it the way you'd think. I didn't go straight to the principal. That would have been too easy. No, they made me feel invisible. So now, I wanted them to see me and watch everything fall. Revenge doesn't start with fire. It starts with silence and the decision to break it. I didn't touch the book for 3 days. I kept it hidden inside a hollowed-out copy of the bell jar in my bedroom. Fitting right. Each night, I stared at its spine, waiting, weighing. I knew I couldn't release everything at once. That would be war. No strategy, just bloodshed. No, I wanted precision. Surgical strikes. One name at a time. I chose Ethan Carmichael, not because he hurt me personally, but because he was untouchable. Varsity football captain. Abs like Greek marble. Son of the mayor. The golden boy. In the book, Kenzie wrote, Ethan cheats on every test. Mr. Price lets him because he wants campaign money from Ethan's dad. Last week, he paid Olivia to write his history paper, then told everyone she offered to sleep for an A. That was enough. The lie, the smear, the bribe, the rot underneath the smile. And Olivia, she was a sophomore. Sweet. Always sat alone at lunch. I remembered the day people whispered slut behind her back. I just didn't know why. Now I did, and I wouldn't let it sit. Operation Phase 1. Monday morning, a school-wide email from a burner account beljarspeakagmail.com Subject line, how do you spell hypocrite? ETHAN. Attached was a photo of the burn book page. Just that one. Just Ethan's. With a red circle around Olivia's name. By second period, the school was buzzing. By lunch, Ethan was in the principal's office. By dinner, I heard through the grapevine that Mayor Carmichael had threatened a lawsuit. But the best part, Olivia. She walked through the cafeteria that day like a shadow finally made flesh. No one laughed. No one dared. She looked taller. And for the first time since I started high school, someone looked me in the eye and nodded. Her. I crossed his name out in the book, not as punishment, as closure. One done, dozens to go. But something I didn't expect happened next. Someone slipped a note into my locker. No name, just a single sentence. You have the book. I want in. My fingers trembled. Who knew was I being watched? Was it a trap? Or was someone else just as broken as me? I waited 2 days before responding. Left a post-it in the girls' bathroom behind the third stall mirror. Just 5 words. Prove you're not a threat. That night, I couldn't sleep. Again. I thought about how power changes people. How I used to stare at Kenzie and Alyssa and wonder what it felt like to be feared. Now I knew. It felt like a slow poison mixed with honey. Because no matter how good it felt to see justice bloom, something darker had taken root inside me. I wanted more. I wanted them all to fall. But revenge is never clean. And I was about to make my first mistake. A big one. The next note came on a Friday. Folded perfectly. Neat like origami. Tucked into my locker so carefully, I almost missed it. Inside, just a quote. The enemy of my enemy might just be useful. Meet me. Roof. After last bell. Signed S. I almost threw it away. But I didn't. Because deep down, even the lone wolf wants someone to watch the moon with. The rooftop of Ridgeview High was locked. But locks mean nothing when you've spent your life learning how to slip through cracks. I climbed the maintenance ladder, feeling the cool metal bite into my palms. When I reached the top, the wind hit first. Cold, sharp, cleansing. And then her, sitting on the edge, legs dangling over 3 stories of concrete death, was Sage Templeton. Of course, purple streaks in her jet black hair. Combat boots with real mud still caked in the soles. She was the girl who smoked cloves in the cemetery behind school and once punched a teacher in 10th grade, allegedly. She didn't look at me when she spoke. You're bolder than I thought. You're nosier than I expected. Touché? Silence. Then she finally turned. Her eyes weren't cold. They were observant, like she saw through skin and straight into intent. I've known about the burn book for months, she said. But I didn't have access. You did. How, let's just say I had a sister. And she was in it. I didn't have to ask who. Her face said everything. Her sister wasn't here anymore. What do you want? I asked. Same as you. Justice. Or maybe just chaos. But I don't want your spotlight. I want results. This isn't a game. Good. I don't play. We made a pact that night. Not of friendship, of function. Sage would feed me intel names, connections, hidden whispers from bathrooms and locker rooms. I would act, choose, expose, burn. In return, we both got what we wanted. Control. And the beginning of something neither of us fully understood, yet a network. The next target was personal for her. Mr. Lennox, history teacher, beloved, charismatic. The kind who called students young minds and played indie rock while grading papers. But Sage knew what he was hiding. Her sister had been his favorite student. Tutoring sessions. Extra time after school. Quiet sobbing in the car after coming home. But no one believed her. Until the burn book, I flipped to the page. There it was. Kenzie had written it all down. Lennox and Sage's sister. 100% real. He told her he'd ruin her GPA if she told. Alyssa dared me to record it. Got a full audio file saved on my old phone. LOL. My stomach twisted. It wasn't gossip. It was evidence. We waited for the right moment. Monday morning airdrop. Not just the page. The audio? Kenzie's laugh. Mr. Lennox's voice. The threats. The silence. It spread through the school like wildfire. By noon, he was escorted off campus. By Wednesday, he was under investigation. Sage didn't cry. She just whispered 2 down and walked away. But power creates attention, and not all of it is safe. That night, I got my first threat. A printed photo of me taken from the hallway cameras slipped under my front door. On the back, written in sharp red ink, "Keep going and you'll be next in the book. K. Kenzie." She knew. When a queen feels threatened, she doesn't scream. She smiles and moves her pawns. The day after the threat slipped under my door, everything seemed louder. Locker slams felt like gunshots. Laughter like sirens. I felt eyes on me everywhere, watching, waiting, daring me to flinch. But I didn't flinch. Not yet. By lunch, something shifted. Kenzie was back. Not just physically, she'd never left, but in full form. Dressed to kill. Glossed lips razor wit, and a look that said, "I know." She strolled through the cafeteria like a mafia boss at a wedding. People parted, and she was holding something. A phone. Not hers. Someone else's. She climbed up on a bench and tapped her glass with a spoon like it was a toast at a banquet. "Hey, Ridgeview, I thought it was time we played a little game too. Let's talk about secrets." She began scrolling and reading aloud, line by line from a new burn book, but this time digital. Screenshots, fake confessions, photoshopped DMs, all signed with the name. Burnt bitch Elara. My breath stopped. The name echoed through the cafeteria like gunfire. "Looks like our little invisible girl's been busy," Kenzie said, fake pouting, "exposing secrets, destroying lives. But here's the catch, she made one tiny mistake." She turned the phone. She used Anna Bishop's Wi-Fi to upload it. Gasps, whispers, heads turning. Anna Bishop, sweet, quiet, mathlete, sat 3 rows behind me in chemistry. Lent me a pencil once and apologized when it didn't have an eraser. Kenzie smiled like a cat with blood in her teeth. So either Anna's a criminal mastermind, or someone used her. Anna was escorted out of the lunchroom. She looked confused, broken. She didn't even look at me, but I saw it. That moment of betrayal in her eyes. She thought it was me. And worst of all, it was. Unintentionally. I had uploaded Ethan's file on school Wi-Fi once, and Anna had been sitting right next to me. It was enough for Kenzie to twist it. After school, I found Anna behind the gym curled up, hugging her knees. I walked toward her, but she flinched before I could speak. "Don't! Just don't!" "Anna, I swear. I don't care if it was you or not. It's done. Everyone believes it. My parents got called. I might get suspended." Her voice cracked. "You said nothing while they dragged me out." "I couldn't. Kenzie." "You could've." Silence. She stood up, wiped her face. "You wanted justice, congrats. You just made another ghost." I didn't cry, but something inside me did crack. It wasn't the guilt. It was the realization that I had become the very thing I wanted to destroy. A girl who used the weak to hurt the powerful. Collateral, just like me. That night, I met Sage on the rooftop again. I told her everything. She didn't judge. She just lit a cigarette, exhaled, and said, "Then fix it, or burn it all down and start over." "Kenzie's upping the game," I said. "She's watching me." "Then let her. Let her think she's winning. What if someone else gets hurt? Then make her the only target left." I looked down at the burn book that night, flipping through names, secrets, pages like blades, and I found it. Kenzie's greatest secret, buried deep. Written by Alyssa herself in a rushed, angry scrawl. Kenzie switched her college admission essay with Piper's. Word for word, got her into Yale. Piper didn't even get waitlisted. If anyone finds out, she's done. Kenzie stole someone's future, and no one knew. But I did. And now, so would the world. Power corrupts, but stolen power, that rots from the inside. I stared at the page for hours. A single sentence, 14 words that could unravel everything Kenzie had built. Kenzie switched her college admission essay with Piper's. Word for word, got her into Yale. I remembered Piper. Smart, unshakably kind. Always the first hand raised in AP Lit. Everyone thought she was a shoo-in for Yale. But when the results came out, silence. She vanished from social circles. Never posted about colleges. Rumors said she ended up at a local community college. It didn't make sense. Until now. Kenzie hadn't just stolen a place in school. She had stolen a life trajectory. I told Sage. She didn't blink. "We drop it. Tonight. No, not yet, I said. This isn't just about humiliation. It's about justice. Same thing. Not anymore. I had learned something since Anna. There's a line between ruining someone's life and forcing them to face what they did. Kenzie would cross that line eventually, but I wouldn't be the one to push her first. I wanted her to step into the fire herself, and I needed someone to light the match. Enter Alyssa Storm, Kenzie's best friend, co-author of the Burn book. Loyal, dangerous, but recently quiet. Ever since the Lennox incident, Alyssa had stopped showing up at cheer practice. Her perfect Instagram captions grew cryptic. Emojis disappeared. She looked tired. Guilt, maybe. I left a note in her gym locker. I know what you wrote. You know what she stole. Want to talk? It was a gamble. But she replied. We met at the town's abandoned greenhouse. Twilight painted the glass in bruised gold. The air smelled like dust and regret. She didn't say hello, just walked in and sat down on a cracked stone bench. How did you get the book, she asked. It doesn't matter. It kind of does. Because ever since it vanished, Kenzie's been spiraling. We all are. Good. She looked at me, really looked. You think we're monsters? Aren't you? Maybe. But she made us this way. Her voice broke. Do you know what it's like to be trapped in someone's orbit? To owe your whole identity to a girl who decides who you are and who you're allowed to be. I didn't answer. Because yes, I did. I had lived in Kenzie's shadow too, just from the outside. Alyssa took a deep breath. I wrote that note about Yale. I didn't think anyone would ever see it. But now that you have, do it. Burn her down. Why don't you? Because if I do, I go down with her. So I'm not like you. I'm not brave. Silence. And then, but I can get you proof. That night, she sent me the file. Kenzie's application, identical to the essay Piper had submitted to Ms. Raymond weeks earlier for peer review. Only the name at the top had changed. Digital timestamp confirmed it. It was enough. But I waited. I needed the right moment. One where Kenzie couldn't lie, couldn't run, couldn't twist the truth. And as fate would have it, that moment was already scheduled. Senior Honors Assembly, in front of the entire school, where Kenzie DeWitt was set to receive the Academic Excellence Award, hand-delivered by a Yale admissions liaison. Poetic, perfect, and final. I crafted the video overnight, side-by-side comparison of Piper's original essay and Kenzie's submission, with highlighted lines, dates, names, and one closing slide. Kenzie DeWitt didn't earn her place. She stole it. Burnt bitch Elara. Uploaded, scheduled, synced, to drop at 11:04 a.m., right when her name would be called. But something unexpected happened. At 10:26 a.m., I got a message. From Alyssa. I'm backing out. You can't do this. It's already done. I'll tell them it was me. I'll take the fall. Please, don't ruin her life like this. She ruined Piper's, but Piper survived. Kenzie won't. I stared at the screen, fingers trembling. Was this justice? Or was I becoming the very fire I meant to control? Kenzie deserved to fall. But did Alyssa deserve to burn with her? Did I? The clock ticked. 10:45, 10:50, 10:55. The auditorium began to fill. Kenzie stood backstage in a pristine white blazer, her perfect smile rehearsed in the mirror. Alyssa stood beside her, pale, silent, broken. And I stood in the shadows, one finger hovering over the cancel button. 11 a.m. The crowd clapped. Kenzie stepped forward. My heart pounded. 11:02 a.m. I stood just behind the auditorium curtains, barely breathing. Kenzie DeWitt was about to be crowned. Piper Bishop was about to be erased. And I was standing at the edge of a line I might never come back from. The Yale liaison stepped up to the podium. Kenzie adjusted her white blazer, soaking in the spotlight like it was made for her skin. And the principal spoke. This year's Academic Excellence Award goes to a student who has demonstrated leadership poise and unparalleled academic achievement, Miss Kenzie DeWitt. The crowd erupted. Cheers, applause, flashes of phones and fake admiration. Kenzie walked forward, perfect smile locked in place. At that exact moment, 11:04 a.m., the video went live. Half the auditorium's heads snapped down to their phones. A second later, a hush fell. Then whispers, loud, fast, confused, disbelieving. Kenzie's name still rang on the loudspeaker, but the echo was drowned out by gasps and exclamations. I could feel the atmosphere turn, like oxygen had turned to gasoline. What is this? Is that her essay? Wait, that's Piper's? The liaison blinked, holding the plaque awkwardly midair. Kenzie froze. What's going on? She asked, voice thin and trembling. A teacher ran up to the podium, whispering something urgent to the principal. Kenzie's name was still glowing on the screen behind them, but suddenly it looked wrong. Too bright. Too exposed. Like blood under a black light. And then it shattered. The principal cleared his throat. There seems to be a discrepancy. Kenzie, we'll need to speak with you immediately. Kenzie's smile cracked like porcelain. This is insane. That's fake. That video is fake. But no one listened, because the truth had already spoken. She was escorted off stage. The applause never came back. Just whispers, judgment, recoil. And for once, Kenzie DeWitt wasn't the queen. She was just another headline waiting to happen. Backstage, I watched through the side curtain. Sage appeared beside me, smirking. Well, that was satisfying. I feel sick, I whispered. Why, you did what no one else could. You made her bleed without touching her. I didn't do it for revenge anymore. Then why? Because someone had to remind them lies don't stay buried forever. That night, I walked past the Bishop house. Lights were on. Laughter spilled through the windows. Piper was smiling again. With her family. Her future still uncertain, but no longer stolen. I didn't knock. I just kept walking. Because this wasn't about thanks. It never was. The next morning, I found a note in my locker. Plain white paper, taped neatly. Just 4 words. Your turn is next. No signature, no threat, just a promise. Kenzie might have fallen. But something told me the game wasn't over. Because in a school like Ridgeview, secrets never stay buried. And neither do queens. Revenge stories always end with the fall. But no one ever talks about what happens after the ashes settle. What happens when there's no more enemy to fight? What happens when the crowd stops clapping? What happens when the silence creeps in? Kenzie DeWitt vanished. She didn't return to school the next day, or the day after that. Rumors flew like angry wasps. Her parents pulled her out. She's in Switzerland. She had a breakdown and shaved her head. But I knew the truth. Kenzie wasn't hiding. Kenzie was waiting. And in the meantime, something darker began to bloom in Ridgeview. The first sign was Mr. Howland. Chemistry teacher, dry as toast, harmless. Until he was escorted off campus mid-class by 2 officers. Whispers spread fast, inappropriate emails, found on a school computer. No one asked why they were discovered now. No one questioned who had access to those files. But I did. Because I recognized the name on the burner account that leaked the emails. Beljar speak Agamail.com, my burner. But I hadn't used it in a week. Second came Trevor Lim, student council VP, caught selling test answers from the teacher's lounge printer. Anonymous tip, screenshot, perfectly timed. But it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. Then came the third. A missing girl. Sophia Kim? Not dead, not hurt, just gone. Vanished like Kenzie. No note, no digital trail. Her phone pinged its last signal from the woods behind the school. Police came, dogs searched. Nothing. The air got cold after that. And I began to feel something I hadn't in a long time. Fear. I confronted Sage. She was waiting on the rooftop again, arms folded back against the chain-link fence. What did you do? To who? You know what I'm talking about. The emails, the leaks, the girl. She shrugged. I didn't touch Sophia, but the others. Maybe I just got inspired by you. That wasn't the deal. There was no deal. You wanted to burn the rot out of Ridgeview. I'm just turning up the heat. I stepped closer. This isn't justice anymore. This is chaos, she smiled. Isn't it beautiful? That night, I checked my devices, my accounts, and found code buried in the burner email's metadata. An IP redirect. A digital fingerprint. Sage had cloned my access. She had been using my identity to do her damage, using my revolution to feed her rage. And now the fire was out of my hands. I tried to delete everything, but the email bounced. Password changed. Locked out. She had taken everything. The next day, a school-wide email went out. Subject: the burn book, director's cut. Inside, everything, every page, every photo, every note. No names redacted, no context spared. Kenzie's pages. Ethan's. Even mine. Even my own handwriting, my own angry rants I had once scrawled in the margins while reading it. My fingerprints were everywhere. I wasn't a ghost anymore. I was the villain. And then, the final message. From Sage. Taped to my locker. Black envelope. Blood red ink. You wanted to destroy a kingdom. I wanted to erase the whole map. Watch the smoke, Elara. You taught me how to strike the match. Essie. I stood frozen as students passed me in the hallway. No one whispered. No one smiled. They didn't look through me anymore. They looked at me like I was a monster. Kenzie had built the system. I had cracked it, but Sage had become it. And now, I wasn't in control. I was next. I thought I was done being invisible. But turns out, there are worse things than being unseen. Like being watched, judged, feared. Like walking into a room and knowing they've all read your sins. The hallways of Ridgeview had changed. People no longer whispered about Kenzie. Now they whispered about me. My name was no longer just Elara. It was Burnt Bitch Elara. I tried to speak, to explain, to tell them that I hadn't leaked the entire book. That someone else, Sage, had twisted the revolution into something unrecognizable. But it didn't matter. They saw fire. They assumed I was the arsonist. And then, the twist. The part I hadn't seen coming. Because that's the thing about smoke. It hides more than it reveals. It happened 2 days later. I was sitting alone in the school library where it all began when a shadow fell over my table. I looked up and almost screamed. Sophia Kim. Not missing. Not hurt. Alive. Wearing a black hoodie and a look I couldn't decipher. You're not surprised to see me, she said, sitting across from me. I thought you were gone, I know. That was the point. What point? She leaned forward, eyes sharp, focused. You think Sage used you? She didn't. She followed me. My breath caught. What are you talking about? She slid a flash drive across the table. Proof. You'll need it soon. Why are you giving me this? Because you're the only one who can still stop her. I plugged the flash drive into my laptop in the back corner of the library. Folders. Dozens of them. Photos, audio recordings, chat logs, plans. Sage's plans. Not just about the burn book, but about something worse. Phase 2. One file was labeled Ridgeview Cleanse. Inside was a blueprint. She wasn't just exposing secrets anymore. She was engineering destruction, creating new rumors, editing screenshots, fabricating scandals, framing people. One file even detailed how she would release a deep-fake video of the vice principal cheating with a student. It was horrifying, precise, calculated, and signed with my burner email. Another folder was labeled Operation Ghost. Inside, photos of Sophia, her staged disappearance, the false GPS logs, the fake text messages, all designed to trigger panic, remove her from suspicion, and give Sage time to move unnoticed. She's been planning this for months, Sophia said behind me. She used your story as a cover. Everyone thinks you're the mastermind. That's exactly what she wanted. Why are you helping me now? Because I thought destroying Ridgeview was righteous. Until I realized I'd just traded one manipulator for another. I stared at the files, hands shaking. Sage didn't want justice. She wanted annihilation. Kenzie ruled through control. I fought back with exposure. But Sage wanted to salt the earth, to ensure no one could rebuild. So how do we stop her? I asked. Sophia gave me a thin smile. We don't. You do. You started the fire. Now finish it. I don't even know where she is. She's waiting. For what? For the final chapter? That night I received an email from my old burner address. Subject, let's end this where it began. Attached a photo. The rooftop. Empty. Lit only by moonlight. Below the image, one line of text. Come alone. Bring the book. I knew what it meant. No more secrets. No more pawns. Just me, her, and the fire between us. The wind was colder than I remembered. Or maybe I just felt it more. Because this time, I wasn't a ghost. I wasn't a watcher in the shadows. I was the reason there were shadows now. I climbed the ladder slowly. Every step creaked like a confession. The rooftop spread out before me, soaked in silver moonlight. Empty. Silent. Until she stepped from the far side. Sage. Same combat boots, same glare. But this time, no smirk. Just calculation. She held the burn book in one hand, mine in the other. The original. and the duplicate she had filled with twisted truths. One in each fist, like scales of justice. You came alone, she said. I didn't need backup. Still think you're the hero in all this? No, I said, but I know I'm not you. She smiled faintly. Funny. You made me. I took a step forward. The city lights flickered below us like dying stars. Why, I asked. Why go this far? You said you wanted justice. Justice, she laughed bitter. This place doesn't deserve justice. Ridgeview breeds monsters and crowns them prom queen. So burn it all down. Exactly. Even the people who never hurt anyone. She shrugged. No one's innocent, Elara. Not really. I reached into my pocket and held up a flash drive. The evidence, proof that she forged, framed, faked. Proof of her digital trail. I have everything. So do I. She held up her phone. Live stream. Red light blinking. Say hi to everyone watching. My blood ran cold. She was broadcasting. You wanted a reckoning, Elara. So here it is, she said. Let's show them how far the girl who wanted to be seen was willing to go. You're twisting everything. No, I'm revealing it. You started this. I just finished it. I didn't leak the whole book. I didn't frame those teachers. I didn't disappear anyone. But you inspired it. Your name is on the matchbox. I looked at the book in her hand. The real one. The one that had started it all. Give it to me. Why, she asked. So you can feel clean again. So I can end this. She paused. Then to my shock, she held it out. But as I reached for it, she dropped it. Over the edge, the pages fluttered like blackened wings into the night. Gone. It was never about the book, she said. It was about the idea of it. Then what now? She stepped closer. Eyes glassy. Now we let them decide. She turned the camera on me. Live. Streaming. Thousands watching. You want the truth? I said, staring directly into the lens. Here it is. And I told them everything. The real story. The stairwell. The book. The first leak. The lies. The consequences. I wanted to expose cruelty, I said. But I didn't realize how easy it is to become it. I hurt people. Some deserved it. Some didn't. And I'm sorry. But I won't let someone else weaponize what I started. I turned to Sage. This ends with me. No, she whispered. It ends with both of us. And before I could stop her, she stepped onto the ledge. Sage, if they want a villain, fine. Let me be their final chapter. I ran, grabbed her arm. Don't you dare. Let go. No. We stood there, locked in place above the world that had broken us both. And in that moment, I saw her for what she was. Not a monster. Not a mastermind. Just another girl who wanted to be seen. Tears ran down her cheeks. So I said the only thing I could. Then be seen. But live to tell the story. Silence. Then she stepped back. I shut off the stream. Sage collapsed to her knees, and I sat beside her. On that cold rooftop, two burned girls, holding the ashes of something that once was power. They didn't expel me. They didn't crown me either. They just let me exist. And for the first time, that was enough. The video went viral, of course. The full stream, my confession, Sage's breakdown, the rooftop. It was everywhere. BuzzFeed, Reddit, TikTok, the Ridgeview Reckoning, they called it. Some said we were brave. Some said we were insane. Most just moved on to the next outrage, because that's what the internet does. It devours girls like us and spits out the next scandal. Sage transferred to a private school out of state. We don't talk, but sometimes she sends me postcards. Always unsigned, always cryptic. Last one just said, "We burned it down. Now plant something better." S. Piper got her Yale spot back. The school launched an investigation and the truth cleared her name. She never thanked me. And I didn't expect her to. She earned that future. I just stopped someone from stealing it. Kenzie, I don't know. Rumors say she's in therapy. Others say her parents moved. Part of me hopes she's okay. Part of me doesn't. But mostly, I hope she's different. The burn book is gone. The real one. But maybe it was never about the pages. Maybe it was about what happens when secrets become weapons. When silence becomes survival. And when girls like me finally decide to scream. Now I sit alone in the same library. But people nod at me now. Not out of fear or pity. Just recognition. Like I'm real. Like I belong. And sometimes a freshman or sophomore will sit across from me. Eyes down, voice shaking. And they'll say, Can I tell you something? And I'll listen, because that's how it should have started all along. Not with burning, but with witnessing, with hearing, with choosing not to look away. My name is Elara. I'm not a ghost anymore. I'm still here. And I'm still writing. Just in a different kind of book.